Hi everybody, welcome to today's English lesson on Wednesday. Now, today you are going to be looking at your novel again, okay, so your book, and our book is The Giggler Treatment by the author Roddy Doyle. And I hope you are all really enjoying it so far. I know there's lots of describing words in there that kind of make my skin crawl a little bit, especially when they're describing the poo. So I hope you guys are enjoying it and finding it funny. Now, last week you read chapter 3, isn't that right? So you had a look at chapter 2 and 3. Now, this week you're going to be reading chapter 4 and 5. Now, these chapters are a little bit funny, okay? So I'll read what the first chapter is called. So chapter 4, it actually says, a chapter that isn't really a chapter because nothing really happens in it, but we'll call it chapter 4. Okay, but even though it says that, it's still important that you read it. So read chapter 4 carefully. If you're finding it a little bit tricky, you can play along with this audio recording of the book. There's no problem. You can press play in the YouTube link on this activity. You can have your book open in front of you and use your finger to follow and read along with the voice of the person who's reading it, okay? Then if you have a look, that's chapter 4, and chapter 5 is a little bit funny too. So it's called chapter 5, which should probably be called chapter 4, but let's just call it chapter 5. Okay, so myself and Brian are asking you to have a look at chapter 4 and chapter 5 because chapter 4 is quite short. Okay, now your activities to do with these two chapters are pretty much the same as last week, okay? So we want you to keep working on your word wizard skills. We saw some fantastic work, girls and boys. You should be very proud of yourself. Some of you picked really interesting words. You looked them up in the dictionary, you wrote down the definition, and then you put them in a sentence also, which was really good because that means that myself and Brian and Jenny know that you know what those words mean, okay? I know that some people probably thought they knew exactly what all the words meant, but it's still good to see what the definition is in the dictionary of words you think you know, okay? So have a read through the two chapters. Do the word wizard part, pick out 3 words, interesting words or words that you don't understand, look them up in the dictionary, write down the meaning, and then put them into a sentence, okay? Then the second part is your comprehension questions. So similar to last week. So what I'm going to do is flick out here, and I'm going to go into the comprehension questions for you guys to have a look at for this week, okay? So the layout of the activity will be the same. You'll see a page like this where you have to use the record button to record yourself reading 1 or 2 pages from chapter 4 or 5. Then you move on to do your word wizard task, okay? So finding 3 tricky words, using your dictionary, writing the meaning down, and then putting them into sentences. And then your comprehension questions. So as Brian said last week, it's a copybook activity. So you're going to be ruling your page with red pen. You're going to be writing your title and your date. You're then going to write your heading for your word wizard part, write out your word in red pen, then using your pencil, write down the definition, so the meaning of the word, and then write a short sentence showing us that you know how to use that word in a sentence, okay? So you pick 3 words, then you move on to your comprehension questions and you write down the answers for those, all right? Now, let's go back, have a look at those comprehension questions. So here they are. Number 1, how many gigglers are on the other side of the wall? Now, that might be in chapter 3, so make sure you've read chapter 3 as well. Question 2, what are the first 2 sounds that the gigglers listen out for? Question 3, what is the distance between Mr. Mac's shoe and the you-know-what? Floss! Oh, sorry about that. Question 4, which of the gigglers makes the calculation? And question 5, Floss, have you ever tried to hide a fit of giggles? Describe the situation. Now, I know I've tried to hide fits of giggles lots of times, especially when I'm in a really serious situation. I sometimes get very, very giddy or very giggly and find it hard to stop giggling. So I know you guys have loads of stories, so I'd love to read 1 or 2 of your answers for that part there, okay? So remember, using your English copy, you need to complete these activities in your English copy, read back over your work, look for capital letters, full stops, missing words, spellings, check your work, then take a picture of it and upload it for myself, Brian, and Jenny to correct. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy the chapters.